Good morning. I think it's been going on quite interesting sessions this morning. So I'm following many of them, and I thought maybe a little bit change into the from the practical or more technical aspects, and the look at more at the business term of it. How does we look at our businesses turn into the actual reality with AI? So I've been with the industry for about more than 23 years as such. Been in the AI for last, I would say, 5 years, driving various topics at SAP on the AI side. And I would tell you the last 1.5 years is more exciting than ever in the industry to see how we make things. But today's session, I would like to focus more on some of the practical aspects of how do we really deploy the AI use cases, and what do we look at the strategizing it as well. So just stay tuned for the maybe more patience. I think it's been everyone agrees that, right? There is an immense amount of potential that we get with generative AI, especially last few years has been quite transformational, but the moment we get the ChatGPT and the more generative AI models, things has become really, really bullish. I mean, Morgan Stanley expects that to have 4.1 trillion potential economic impact that the AI could have. More importantly, when we look at today's world, right? The AI is everywhere, and more importantly, not look at the specific sector of your industry, but is impacting across all the sectors of your industries. You talk about the procurement, talk about the HR system, you can look at the IT functions as well, right? Which predominantly also get into the space where it makes huge amount of difference for the developers starting to the end user. And that's what the spectrum that AI today covers, that interacting in and impacting to everyone's life in some other ways that we take forward. But let's look at what does it need to build the right AI system. And I think that's where all of us been thinking about that, what a successful AI system to build, right? We also know that there is a 66% of executives are many times dissatisfied with the AI projects. Sometimes a lot of frustration comes in it. If you are engaged in some of the AI projects, this something would also resonate with you, where you look at there's a lack of skill, technology is moving at very faster pace as we move on. But at the same time, you also look at the roadmap, and Gen AI priorities keep changing because we don't get the right outcome that we look forward, or the hype or expectation that made by AI. And many times the POC doesn't turn into the actual value that we need to take out of the complete project. You also look at the strategy is not get properly aligned with your business goal, as well as the responsible AI, right? Because you see every time there are new governance model keep coming in, every time there are the ethics guidelines comes in, and that's also important part. That's something that you build, how it goes to the production aspects as such. What do we need in order to make it more requirement to get the AI in the right aspects of your businesses? We look at the 3 pillars that we call at. It's RRR. It's a reliable, relevant, and responsible way of building the use cases. And this is the high-level framework, at least impacting to make sure that you get the right use case with the high availability. What does it mean for us, right? So relevant is where you pursue the scenario to get the right business value, which impacts on the 3 important aspects: your strategy that you are building, the ROI, and the business processes that impact your businesses. First part is strategy. The strategy of the building the AI in your businesses is importantly to align with your high-level business goal. What exactly your organization want to do? Who is your target audience? Does it exactly meeting their goals in a right way or not? So having the larger strategy not only for an individual use case level, but looking at to impacting on your larger application, that's where it's make to the more relevant for your end user and your target audience as well. Because without having the right end-to-end strategy in mind, starting the AI use cases or deploying the AI project just because of their cool hype there, it is not going to sustain for a long time. Second part is the ROI, because At leadership level, at the management level, everyone want to see what's the ROI I'm going to get if I deploy to certain investment that I bring it in. And that's ROI, that's something would be the very clearly defined when you align your goals in order to make what is the right ROI you look for the investment that you're doing, and how long term it can go also, right? Because ROI is usually, in case of AI case, you might not get the instant ROI out of it. It's again the long term that you time need to build the use case and get the output out of it, and the appetite your organization should have to build them in a right way. Third part is the business processes. It would not work the way business processes has been working in the past. So we know traditionally, I mean, I come for most traditional aspects of where the SAP has been there for last 50 years. The business processes are been there for a very long time. But until the time you don't think using the transformational way of impacting the business processes, when you try to use the AI and GenAI capabilities, it's not going to be same processes that you are using for last 15 years that going to be work in a similar way. You have to think of what business process I can change, how I can leverage the power of the new technology that getting adopted in a way that my business processes can work smartly. Can I cut down some of the transactions? Can I cut down some of the screens? Can I cut down some of the processes to really leverage the power of AI? It's a new way of thinking in order to revolutionize your businesses end to end. And that's where you really see the benefit of it. If you try to force fit something into the current business processes, definitely the value would not be as much as you like to get, but at the same time, you would not get the end-to-end goal also to meet the right ROI at this point of time. So that's the important part where we look at your use case make more relevant with the strategy, ROI, and the business processes alignment there. Next important aspect is the reliability, because unless you don't build a strong, scalable foundation to deliver the AI use case, is never going to be going as strongly as reliable for the building the use case that you need to make it to your customers. And it has two more important ingredients when you talk about the reliability part. First is the data, another one is the abstraction layer. Data is something, is a platform that we need, so everyone knows that the good data you have, you can really able to make the good AI use cases. But in the current world that you see, is the data and the model is a first part, but again, how you ground your model with the right data, how you use the LLMs that you choose for making it happen, how your data pipeline look like, which feed into the some of the grounding you want to do in your overall pipeline that you want to make it there. So having this right data platform is also the important part when you think about building your reliability aspects of it. Because what you don't want to get is that customer is using your AI use case and is just hallucinating at that point of time. It's just giving you some different output than something that you are looking for getting the right outcome from your system. So having this right data and the right data pipeline with the right selection of model for a specific use case is very important. That's something the building the platform is important. Nowadays there are plenty of models are there in the market. We are just having before discussion about the large language model versus the small language model, and also there are now I think region-specific models coming up there, industry-specific models are coming in there. How you can ground this model in the right way in order to get your use case at the right place, and that's where data platform going to play the very important role in order to realize the real AI use case. Second part is the abstraction, the part which you keep the topic about as well. When you build your platform and try to realize the use case, it's such a fast-moving word nowadays. I mean, we just had a 4.0 came some time back. Now I think 1.0 is coming up, which is multi-agent model from OpenAI. The Gemini is delivered at the faster pace. We have Meta delivered the new model there. Look at the way transformation. You can't even predict now, not even the 6 months, I would say even the 2 months what's happening. I would also say the 1 month what's happening, I don't know. So keeping your platform open is something that's something which is very important when you think of building any AI use cases now. Even tying to the specific model and very dependent on them is not also the good idea, I would say there. So having this right abstraction layer, which has the openness of adopting what's best thing happening in the industry, that's a way to look at when you make it the more reliable use case. Because, I mean, you never know what's running today. Tomorrow it can shut down because of some ethics, some AI biasness, or some country put the litigation on them. So it's very important that when we build the use cases, also keep in mind that either I can take advantage of a new latest and greatest thing coming in mind, or I can also look at that how I can ensuring that the innovation that I'm delivering is a future-proof and more little bit loosely ties with the overall infrastructure to make the right abstraction layer. And the next important part that unavoidable in the case, and that's what the responsible AI we talk about, right? You have to build the system in order to make the user trust you. And this trust is very, very important aspects when we make the AI use case. This can be the part which can really make or break your use case, or make or break your usage of your aspects. And there are, I would say, 3 important ingredients when you look at it to build the use case with the element of the governance, getting the right tool, and the workforces. The governance is the integral part when you are defining your use cases in order to ensuring that what right processes you want to follow to make the use case more ethics friendly, but at the same time it also should give the right value. I can give you an example, right? I mean, when you look at building the use case, if you try to ground it more, so if I don't want to talk about more competition, I have to very heavily give you the bias detection that I ground a lot with the specific data coming in this specific use case. You are not going to get the right outcome that you're looking for, because if you try to ground use case with the lot of stringent way, the output going to be always very narrow focus, I would say, and that's something would not make right for your use case. So you have to take a right balance between what exactly you want to take till the governance aspect versus how much openness you need to have in your use case. Second part is the importantly look at when you forming your governance. There are the situation that when you take a decision is maybe the more relevant use case, right? Because we talk about relevance, that it's provide the high business value to my customer. It can be the, if I implement this use case, I'm going to get the 1 million revenue per X amount of users and going to impact my end-to-end portfolio. But what if that use case need personal data to be used from your end user? What if that use case you need to compromise your ethics policies that required in order to have that use case in? So you have to take a very right conscious decision that how you're going to make that balance, right? And in the case that at least we take it at SAP sometimes when there's a very high value use case, but if it's involved to compromise on your responsible AI aspects, we not take forward those use cases. So you have to really have to impact that aspect where or take the foot down, saying that no, the trust is the important part that I build. I may build more use cases, or maybe I can find some work on analyzing some of the aspects or using more tools to have it. But having the right governance framework in place is very important. I mean, we have seen and hearing it all the time, right? Because of the sum of the use case or the data link or the biases created, some of the applications are just bringing down on or ban in specific countries, right? Your users just trust you to use the AI just because of they feel safe on that. Moment they don't feel safe, the usage go back. And also it can cause a lot of litigation, right? It's been a very sensitive topic when we start using. It's all cool to see how the large language model or the small language model can give you the lot of empowerment, quite easy thing to build the use cases. You also have multimodal capability, which can really go beyond what traditionally someone can do. But also it has high chances of getting hallucination. It's a high chances of using the personal data from an end user. It's high chances of using data that user use for the training and then making the creating the footprint to make for a product. That's something which is not likable for that. Jailbreaks can also be a very easily formed within such kind of a product. So you have to be very sensitive to ensure that how you are adding the governance within your organization, within your processes that we do in order to ensure that the right combination can be bring it up. There are a lot of tools available, so would leverage the tools to especially look at the ensure the safety, content moderation, look at how do we, the output of the model can be used in a certain way. And that's where I think the data protection, privacy tools, anonymization tools would come in the picture as well, that you need to ensure that you put the right responsible tool that we need to make it there. And the last and important part is unless your workforce is not upskill on the what is right and what is wrong, you will still see the leakage of the specific contents would be keep happening there. So it's very important to also invest in people to make sure that the use case that they are building are aware of what is data protection privacy they should go, how far they can use customer data, what legal framework that we have in the organization that can allow me to use the X amount of data, or after that the only anonymization can be work, or I cannot use it. So it's an investment that you need to do in the organization in order to achieve the right responsible AI framework to make it in the perspective. I have to bring on how does it looks like when we try to productize the use case. And that's an important part that we talk about, the relevant, reliable, and responsible AI in the framework. And it's I would say, high-level framework that we use. We call in SAP as the business AI framework, where it's all on the top, orchestrate with the Copilot. The Copilot is something we call as Joule, which is abstract the information from the more complex systems that we have, and it's bringing all line of business system, but abstracted with the Copilot, where you can get the more value out of the system, but at the same time you are also getting the simplicity, the way you can reimagine the different aspects of your businesses. Then you look at the second layer, where we try to make a lot of embedded use cases. And that's a more relevant part, because if I am a purchase officer, I want to get recommendation of a document there. If I'm doing HR, I want to generate the automated using AI, the job profile, or even the questionnaires for interview to generate. I would need to bring within the tool that we want. That's why we more focus into making the embedded AI use cases are prominent across our portfolio, following the principle of the relevant, reliable, and responsible way of building it. And the third important part, where we put a lot of guardrail, and that's a part where is the SAP Foundation, or we call AI Foundation layer, which provide the technical guardrail, where we could do data protection, privacy, content filterization, your commercialization that comes there, prompt management, or hosting the new prompts, doing the foundation model, training your own, I would say fine-tuning models and stuff like that. And that's where the layer which kind of abstract you from your business value cases, and the layer can guard completely to ensuring that provide you a lot of tooling to get to the right aspects. And as we spoke about, the last layer is making the partnership with best and breed in the market, right? So it's a pretty open framework where you can always rely on them to add the new components or new best in breed capabilities which come, because every use case that you build in your overall business is going to be unique, in the sense that it needs a specific kind of a model, it needs specific kind of fine tune in order to get the maximum value out for your businesses. And as we spoke earlier, right, the openness is the important part in today's world, where you could have to partner with the key player in the market, and maybe get the more players in order to make it in the right sense. And that's where we look at the high level aspects of building it. Just to give you some perspective on how does it look like in practical. So we talk about more on the Joule, which is we'd say our co-pilot for businesses, abstract the different aspects of the business. This is the example of how does we really in the real time make this abstraction layer with making the single interface to hide the complexity with the co-pilot, when it's a working prototype that make it the smarter, insightful achievement. So it's a right there in your console. So as an end user, I don't need to think about filling something extra to go performing any specific operations. But let's say in this case, I am owner of the large guitar company, and I want to just look at how is my revenue going on for last 6 months. I would just call to my co-pilot, ask about the revenue, and I get my analytical information right here to analyze that what's the revenue going on in market. But I get the idea that, okay, I can really do more because I'm making good profit and I want to really open a new shop. I would ask that, can I get some information from the internet to just find out what are the best cities in Switzerland where I can make my business, and I could see there Geneva could be the right place where I could really go investing it. And that's the time I have the control in my hand to get the large power of large language model and the internet of the data where I can really take this decision to see that how I can take it, move it forward. And I say, okay, Geneva looks like a good, and I have to open the store. Next thing I have to do is hire the store manager. And I would say that, can I hire the store manager? And already I have store managers in my own organization. I am a owner of the shop, of the industry, and I already get to select the store managers that I have and similar store manager opening that I have to create in the system. And that's the point of time Copilot would propose me to get started to create the new job opening in my HR system at this single window to make me created the store manager. I am still not interacting system, but my profile has been created. The request is created, and I could directly go to system and HR system and check that my position has been created for the store manager right here on in the system. And I can again move to the HR system. Still, I have same context of the Copilot, Joule, that's been there in the next system as well. So though in SAP kind of world, you have zoo of 10, 15 systems, but what we try to see that hiding all the complexity by the one truly loaded Copilot, which can make it more reliable answer, and it goes via the complete layer of complexity to hide underneath as well. The second part that I would like to touch upon, that most of how we look at to reimagine also the aspects of the writing the code, because one place where LLMs and AI is very transformational in the sense that where we are making the businesses right, but the second place is where we also look at how Copilot is important to also making easy for the writing the code as well. So what we look at in this example is that we are a developer persona in this case and want to write the application, and this application is RAP application, which is on the SAP proprietary, I would say, system. And here as well we have a Joule which enables you to write the prompt engineering, and with the prompt I would just ask to can you write me the application for the loyalty management, for example, right? And the LLM kicks in underneath. There's a fine-tuned LLM with the data models that's been created, and it's actually start putting the code to understand that what kind of data model I could create based on the prompt has been provided. And anyway, the end user have a complete control on the processes, where now he look at, okay, it looks like to be what kind of CDS view or the database views that we need to create. In this case, the views get created. Definitely I had to add the business logic, because I can not only create the back end and the front end, and how can I add the more business logic, some validation, some master data that I need to make this application really useful for my productization aspects as well, right? And that's where you could add the more valuable aspects just in the form of the prompt, not in the form of lot of writing code or thinking and the recoding done by the large language model in LLM that we have underneath in this case. And I also realized that, okay, I beat the basic part, but I also need to enhance the application. And that's where I again modify the prompts and add the few more fields and few more modules to my application in order to make it more real, give me the logs that I can be rightly prompt to the end user, because it should also save me time for doing the exception handlings and doing the validation and a lot of error checks as such there. And LLM do provide me the suggestions at the application level right there. And I get all the right thing for me to run the application. I just have to do is execute it, which get the deployment on the runtime. It basically deploy your application as well, create the instance in the Cloud Foundry account that as I have, and then you have your application ready. I mean, your application is just ready created by the generation of a code. It's not only with the ready, but it also has a test data in it. It also has a validation in it in order to make it right happen. And as well at the same time, you could also interact the way the application that you could want to make it here to get the right creation and testing the complete end-to-end flow with the enhanced capabilities as well. And there's something that I always forget as a developer to write is writing my unit test. And then in this case, I also asked that, can you write the unit test for me? And it just keeps generating the additional unit test code for the application. Isn't this cool to have such kind of a capability that really works for an end user and save, at least I would say, not completely, but save me the 50% of effort of writing the application as such. And that's what is the application that would make the power of large language model to make it more workable, to set the test framework, not only developing application, but also setting the test framework for us. Again, there are more business examples, I would say, to look at how does we look on the real businesses. There's definitely having the physical copy of your invoices, right? That bill that you get from everywhere. In case of SAP kind of a complex system, we have there are multiple places you get delivery note, you get the your bills, you get to process your documents, and how I can make this OCR reading more smarter using again the power of the large language model and AI. Earlier time I used to do this job to run the lot of models to run, lot of data to feed in order to the system to make them more readable and then make by the system. But nowadays this can be done at very faster pace, and that's where we see the another important evaluation to done across our portfolio, which can be get very high value. Wherever there's a manual receipt upload, where there's a manual PDF upload, where there's the email to be read, we get to use this kind of service in order to automate our document processing at the faster pace. Another important part where the complexity can be again reduced by the large extent when you look at the help documentation, right? The huge amount of help documentation is now put under the RAG, and the RAG is accessible in your tool rightly. And that's another application where the huge amount of search that the user can save in order to directly point where he want to go, where he want to direct himself, and how does the overall productivity gain can be get out of the day-to-day job that someone want to do. Because in the system it really became complex that things doesn't work in the right way, and most of the time people just spend a lot of time to find right documentation, right CSS they want to do, and it's a very high value use case that we look at information retrieval across the system. Finally, to summarize, I mean, to start your AI journey, the very important part to look at that how to make the relevant, reliable and the responsible fulfillment to your businesses, ensure your make the cross-company effort to get the contribution across your journey, and is always the strategy to have the crawling, walking, and running. I think that's something which make the AI use case successful. Is not going to do that first day. You try big bang thing to do, and then the underlying technology keep changing or it doesn't scale at the same. So always take your approach, the scale by scale to take it forward. With that, yep, we could open for the Q&A. Yes, you are, sorry.